This week I'm taking you bargain hunting because right across New Zealand car makers have been slashing the prices on brand new electric cars. And if you're anything like me, you know, part Dutch, then right now, yep, your tightwad gland has got to be throbbing. The thing is, a few people on Facebook have been saying how this is the end of the world and how it's all terrible for resale value and all that. And while that is true for lease companies or people that make money from buying or selling EVs, for normal people like you and me, it is freaking fantastic. So let's go and find bargain number one. And this is it. It is a Great Wall Ora, and it can be yours for the low price of $43,000. And that's typically what you'd spend on a high-end Toyota Corolla with all the options. But with this, well, you never have to go to a gas station ever again. As for range, thanks to its 48 kilowatt hour battery pack, you get about 310 k's per charge if you drive it nicely. Speaking of which, what's it like to drive? And it's actually all right. It's relatively comfortable. It doesn't float around the road too much. It's not too rock hard. It's a nice blend, but no car is perfect. Every car has pros and cons, so let's look at the pros and cons of this car. Starting with the pros, value. It is excellent value. 43 grand for a car that is littered with technology. I mean, for example, you've got wireless phone charging built in as standard. It's got electronically adjustable seats in both the driver's side and the passenger side, again, as standard. It's all relatively comfortable. The seats are quite comfortable as well. They've got that sort of sewed padded effect, very British Leyland. It's also got Appalachian CarPlay and androgynous auto, so you can connect up your devices. But best of all, this thing also has cameras built in. Yes, you've got a bird's eye view camera system included, and it's a really decent definition camera. You can spin it around nice and quick. It's got programmable buttons on the steering wheel as well to turn on things that you want to turn on. Plus, for a family car, this is where it shines. It's got two ISOFIX points in the back seat, so you can put two kids' seats there, heaps of legroom in the back as well, and if your kids get unruly and start kicking the back of your seat, well, by pushing a button down here, you can squirt water at your kids. No, I'm kidding, I made that up, but that would be a cool function, especially in economy class when I come to power. But even though it's dripping with gadgets and technology and it's relatively comfortable and quiet, it's not perfect. It has some downsides. First of all, the DC charging speed isn't amazing. It's more like a Nissan Leaf in terms of DC charging speed, which means that if you're doing a long distance road trip and you're going to be using some of these massive hyper rapid chargers, well, you could be in for a delay. It could take you perhaps on average about 15 minutes each rapid charge longer than the average electric car. It's also not got a lot of boot space in the back there. When I found out when I did the Mafia test, there's not a lot of room there. Also, in the front, when you lift the bonnet, there's no fartment or front compartment. So you're gonna have to store everything you've got in the boot. But most of all, for people like me, and this may not apply to most people, but for people like me, the driving experience isn't that rewarding. Yes, it has one pedal driving, which means that you can take your foot off the accelerator, and the braking, well, it turns that braking into electricity, puts it back into the battery bank. But it's not super responsive. So you take your foot off the accelerator and nothing happens for like a second. Same goes for the acceleration. It has a reasonable amount of power, 125 kilowatts driving its front wheels and 250 Newton meters of torque, which means if I put my foot down, woo, the wheels spin just like that. Another complaint I have is that this centrally mounted touchscreen controls a lot of vehicle functions, but it is only one 10.25 inch screen. So you're gonna have to learn a whole new operating system. It's kind of confusing, there's learning required. It's kind of like watching an American attempt a roundabout. Bang for buck though, this car is one of the top 5 you can buy in New Zealand today. It is excellent value, it's always been good value, but now with all the price cuts, well, you'd have to be mad not to consider it as your next car. But what if you want something a little bigger that costs even less? Well, how about this? This is the MG ZS EV, and right now, this is the best value electric car you can get in New Zealand today. It's not the cheapest new electric car, that's coming in a minute, but in terms of bang for buck, this is unbeatable. This can be yours right now for 41 grand. Brand new electric car, 41 grand. For that, you get 320 k's per charge, and wait until you see the options you get. And we're off and driving this thing. Well, it's nice. I mean, the seating position is good, the seat height is good, it's not too low to the ground, you can just slide straight in. And even though this is the entry-level version, you still get cloth seats. Now, I like cloth seats because if you've got pasty thighs like me, then on a cold winter's day, it's nice just to slide into cloth seats. seats as opposed to cold vinyl or leather. I mean, you've got all your creature comforts in here. You've got air conditioning, you've got climate control, you've got cup holders, you've got an automatic handbrake, you've got a reasonable amount of room in the back as well. You've got ISOFIX points for your kids in the back seat. The crash test rating on this is excellent. It's a super safe car, and because it's electric, well, you don't have to worry about putting petrol in it ever again. Yep, there's a lot of pros going for this car, but the best thing across the entire MG range is not only have they slashed the prices so that cars like this are super affordable. I mean, 41 grand for a brand new electric car. But the warranties have been extended as well. Now, this car has a 10-year warranty on all the mechanical stuff and the battery. That means you've got 10 years, or 250,000 K, whichever happens first, of trouble-free motoring, guaranteed your battery will not degrade much in that time. That's impressive. But, and there's always a but, it's not all puppies and rainbows. This car does have some downsides. First of all, well, it's a bit boring looking. It's not a very exciting car visually, but as long as that's not a problem for you, it's okay. The next thing is, it's not a rocket ship. For electric cars, acceleration sort of goes hand in hand. Electric cars just are naturally fast, but this one, it's not brutal. 0 to 100 is 8 seconds, and yeah, it's not amazing, to be honest. Also, the boot space is a little limited. It's not small, but it's not as big as some of the bigger cars you get, like the Hyundai Ioniq 5, but of course you pay a bit more for that car. Overall though, it's okay. I wish the one-pedal driving was a little stronger, but it's not bad. But there's another car that's also an MG I want you to look at, and it's called the MG4. And this is it, it's the MG4. Now, if you've seen my videos, you'll know I've already reviewed this car, and I love it because it is a lot of fun to drive, and it's also a victim of price cuts. You can buy one of these right now, the entry-level version, for $43,000. For that, you get 350 Ks on one charge. But as you've seen in the videos I've churned out, it is a lot of fun to drive. It's a rear-wheel drive car. It's got just the right amount of power to get you around in and out of Auckland city traffic. It's seriously good value, and it even comes with the option of vehicle to load. That means you plug a device into the charging port, and as you can see, like I have, you can use it to make tea or coffee or toast on the side of the road like I did at this wind farm. It's pretty cool, and that brings me to another point. It's important to keep in mind where your electricity comes from to charge your electric car. And as transport and electricity generation are two of the leading causes of climate change, the easiest thing you can do to play your part is to sign up with Ecotricity at ecotricity.co.nz, because it's New Zealand's only certified climate positive electricity provider. Yep, they're not just talking the talk, they are walking the talk. Is that the right way to say it? So sign up today, switch your house, your car, your business over to Ecotricity's clean, green, renewable electricity, and you'll never look back. But now, I have the cheapest new electric car you can buy today in New Zealand, and it might just surprise you. And this is it, and yes, it's a ute. Yep, the cheapest new electric car you can buy in New Zealand today is this, the LDV ET60, which, wait till you hear the price, $40,000. $39,990 plus on-road costs for a brand new electric pickup truck. For that, you get 325-ish Ks per charge, depending on how you drive, but it has a massive battery pack underneath it, and it's got a reasonable amount of room in the back. Now, I've driven one of these recently. I took it on a good road trip up to Northland. I loaded it up with kumara, and then I went all the way back down to Mangere to pick up some food to deliver to the city mission, and it worked hard. I only charged it once when I was grabbing a coffee for lunch, so I worked it hard like a normal tradesperson would. But wait until you see how they've attached the motor underneath. You join me underneath Chateau LDV. This is the electric motor, which it's kind of ingenious in its simplicity. All they've done is they've spun the diff around backwards and then attached the motor at a 90-degree angle. It's so simple, but it works. The only downside is that the engineers amongst you may have noticed that there's a lot of unsprung weight having this motor here, which means that the ride, well, the ride's not brilliant. Yes, it's not a very refined ride. It's a little bit firm. It's the sort of ride where it likes to be loaded up with stuff in the tray in the back to smooth things out. Unfortunately, another downside is that it only can tow 750 kilograms, so it is a light to medium duty ute. Also, it's not the most powerful vehicle in the world. It's slower than a Toyota Aqua on a rainy Thursday at the lights. It is glacial. However, if you run a business that uses a ute, you would be mad right now to not crunch the numbers on this thing, because I think you'll find out that in just about every business case, this works out to be a very good deal. Those are some of the cheapest new EVs you can buy right now, but there's been prices cut on more upmarket EVs too. Like the popular Tesla Model 3, you can buy one of these bars of soap brand new for under 66 grand. Also, the Model Y has had price cuts, it's now going for around 68 grand. Then there's this newcomer, the Omoda E5, which starts at 48 grand. It's got great bang for buck, so check out my video review, which is in the description. But of course, we can't forget the original gangster, the Nissan Leaf. I mean, sure, it may be about as exciting as a night out with me, but unlike me, this car works well and you can grab one brand new for 64 grand. But there are better options with more range that are cheaper from Volkswagen of all companies. Yep, the ID.4 and the ID.5, both of which are now 60 grand, which is a great price for a brand new German family car. Das ist wunderbar. Hyundai's also got some deals going on with the sleek as a sausage Ioniq going for 66 grand, and these things are so efficient they barely use any electricity. And Kia's also been slashing prices like a sentient hedge trimmer because the entry-level Nero EV is now 60 grand, and those are just some brand new cars. A lot of dealers have near-new demonstrators going for bargain prices, but one of my favorites in terms of bang for buck is this marine mammal. This is the BYD Dolphin standard range, and I've always liked these little cars, but they're not the cheapest. One of these brand new will set you back $44,000. However, you do get 340 Ks per charge, and you do get a lot of tech, like a lot. Too much to explain here, let's just jump in and I'll show you. On the road, the BYD Dolphin standard range, it has everything. I mean, where do we start? Let's start from the top down. It has a massive panoramic glass roof. That sets it apart from the others. Coming down further, we've got this massive touchscreen display, the biggest display out of all the cars you've seen. Plus, it's got a party piece. I can change the, yeah, it goes into portrait mode. But that's evil. You should always have everything in landscape mode. If you've got a mobile phone, pay attention. Then we've got wireless phone charging right here between the seats. Well, yes, it's got androgynous Apple built in. It's got everything you could possibly want. Other things you take for granted. It's got the indicator stalk on the correct side. Of course, we've got other stuff built in. It's got its own built-in map system. The other models don't. The other cars, except for the Hyundai, as you might have seen in the little cutaway, they don't have it. This is unique to the BYD. It's got its own map system, and the map system is fast. One thing I love about BYD's software is it's super fast. Same goes for the 3D camera system. It's really, really fast. Gives you a great bird's eye view, faster than the other models you've seen, and in great definition as well. Then, of course, we've got things like seated heats. It's got seated heats in both the driver and passenger seat. It has electronically adjustable seats, both the driver and the passenger. It's got a decent amount of room in the back. It's got a reasonable amount of room in the boot. But before you think this is nothing but an advertisement for BYD, and I do like BYD stuff, so full disclosure, they make some good stuff. This car's not perfect. For example, one thing that I happen to like, but many people will not like, is the ride in this car. Put my foot down. It's another problem is that it's not very grunty. That was my foot hard down and it didn't get up to speed very quick. it's all over the place. It's like a waterbed. It really does lurch. I mean, this is perfect for the city and it's perfect for cruising. But if you like driving hard, well, the acceleration and the handling in this car is gonna leave you dissatisfied. Believe it or not, this has the same acceleration as the electric Ute you saw earlier. Yep, 0 to 100 is about 12 seconds. And for an electric vehicle, it's not very fast. I'll tell you what, it is still a lovely car to drive though. It may not be super fast and it may be more spongy than firm in the corners, but for a lot of people, a soft ride, like me, soft ride is really important. It does wallow a bit, but it's a trade-off to arrive to your destination utterly relaxed or jarred to the bone needing a chiropractor. This, I really do like a soft ride. So there you have it. Those are the bargains that you can expect to find right now in the electric car sphere in New Zealand. Price cuts across the board have been nothing but good news for consumers. The thing is, in the past, until very recently, buying an electric car was often a status symbol or something you want to do to help the environment, because let's face it, climate change, we've got to combat that. But now, with all the price cuts we're seeing, it now makes financial sense to buy an electric car. Crunch the numbers. People have. It is cheaper to own an electric car, including the purchase price long term, than it is to buy a new combustion car. So you would have to be mad to buy a dirty car right now when you've got electric car offerings like this that are only getting cheaper. And if any of the prices you saw today are still a little bit too high, check out Trade Me. The second-hand market for electric cars right now is super hot. Like this car right now, you can find great deals on Trade Me, same with the MG4, same with the Ora, the Great Wall Ora. They're going for crazy dollars right now on the used market. Or if you want something cheaper, you can get a 40 kilowatt hour Nissan Leaf like this for less than $17,000. And this is a car that'll do 200 to 300 Ks on one charge. Like, that's pretty unbeatable. That was impossible 5 years ago. Bottom line is, it's a buyer's market and you have all the power, not only financially, but also in your electrified right foot. This might not be the best car to do that.